Alright boys, time to talk high elves. These are going to be the best, most accessible, so free to play high elf champs that you can pick up to destroy in faction wars and hopefully some other areas of the game as well. As always, we're going to be avoiding the void style champions in these kinds of videos, just to really make sure that we are sticking to super accessible picks. Starting off with the uncommons. Now, realistically, the only champ you're going to actually be looking to build here is going to be Elfguard. That's it. Is she particularly good for faction wars? Not really, right? You just bring very good 10 meter control on the A2. Very spammable indeed, right? With bucks, you can be spamming this out every other turn. Very strong. I actually use Elfguard at level 40 in normal Doom Tower for taking on Scarab King. And it actually works pretty okay, even just leaving her all the way down at level 40. Is she actually that useful? Look, probably not, right? You're going to be maxing out Elfguard. Not really, right? But I thought that she's worth a shout out. Anyway, okay, onto the rare champs. First of all, Apothecary. Obviously, this guy is an S tier rare. Another champ that we're going to spotlight. I won't be spotlighting all of the champs, by the way, in this video. Just going to draw attention to specific guys, and other ones we'll kind of brush over, right? But Apothecary is a guy who deserves to be spotlighted. He's got a triple hitter on the A1. Very good with the Giant Killer Mastery, of course, for pumping out all of that extra damage. Has a basic heal on his A2, not bad, and most importantly for early accounts in particular, brings strong increased speed and 10 meter fill on a 310 cooldown bucks with very few bucks required on his A3. Very nice indeed. Fantastic for secret rooms. Obviously very important tools as well to bring into faction wars. And yeah, the reviews on Apothecary kind of speak for themselves, right? Yeah, even the triple hitter makes him good into Fire Knights. How could I forget that? He's just a very good all-rounder rare that if you pull him early, he's definitely going to be going up to 60. And honestly, for like rare secret rooms and stuff, you're probably going to end up leveling him to like 50 at a minimum, even if you pull him quite late. Avenger is going to be a no. Elhain is going to be another of our S tier shoutouts. Of course, she's a starter champ. We don't need to cover it too much, but she has multiple attack all enemies skills. Just a very good rare nuka indeed for the High Elves faction. Again, she's going to help you out in secret rooms and stuff for a long time to come, even once you are done using her in faction wars too. So yeah, Elhain is obviously a good egg. Adjudicator, yeah. Eris is actually another one that maybe we'll spotlight just a little bit, just because of her passive, right? Counterattacks the attacker when an ally is attacked. Eris can find use in early clan boss. You can put her in something like a toxic set, so that on hit she has a chance to apply poison. And because the clan boss has 2 out of 3 of its attacks being AoE, so they hit everybody on your team, you're getting quite a lot of counterattacks in on the Eris. Not only that, but of course on the A2, if you get her speeds just right, then she also has some debuff removal as well for removing the clan boss's stun, which comes in 1 every 3 attacks that the clan boss throws out. And so, yeah, Eris is a pretty good shout as well if you pull her early. Will you actually be using her that much in faction wars? Almost certainly not, to be honest. But if you're building her for your clan boss team, you might find some use for her there. Now, some people do quite like Fencer. I guess she's alright. She does bring an AoE decrease defense. It is only the weak version at a 30% decrease, and she brings a stun single target on her A2, so she's pretty solid if you're lacking those things. If you need a decreased defense in particular and you're really struggling for that in your faction wars teams, then she can be worth leveling. I think Fencer's issue is that she kind of struggles to help out that much in other areas of the game, but she's okay. And I'd also like to give a special shout out to Prosecutor, who also brings an attack all enemies with a decreased speed, as well as a triple hitter on the A3 and a double hitter on the A1, which actually has a chance of reducing targets 10 meter. And so if you pull Prosecutor super early on and Fire Knight is giving you a lot of problems, then Prosecutor with, you know, the triple hitter A3, double hitter A2, reduce 10 meter. Prosecutor could help you out a little bit for just getting started in Fire Knight. We're talking about very early stage accounts, of course, here. And she will also do a little bit of a job for you as well with the A2 decrease speed in faction wars, in secret rooms. So Prosecutor's one worth considering, but really the S tier picks are going to be Apothecary and Elhain. The others, if you pull them early, consider them. Okay, man. Time for the epics. But before we get to that, you know what time it is. It is, of course, time for good old Code Game Leap. If you haven't used Code Game Leap already, then go ahead and get it done, man. Going to give you a free energy refill, 100,000 silver, and 10 free experience brews. And it also helps to support the channel too. So if you input Code Game Leap and it comes up as invalid and you've already used it, make sure to share it with your clanmates as well. And yeah, share the love. It also helps to support the channel a hell of a lot, man, so I really appreciate anybody who does do that. So first epic on the list, we're going to be jumping in with an S tier champ right away. In fact, there's I think the first three we're going to be covering and spotlighting right away, man. It's going to be Royal Guard. Royal Guard brings a strong version of decreased defense debuff on his A1, which is obviously just good everywhere. On the A2, this thing hits like an absolute truck and is a boss slapper of an A2. Attack all enemies. Damage increases according to enemy max HP. This means that this guy is going to scale for ridiculous damage numbers if you're just getting started into Hydra. It's going to smack the hell out of Spider. Yeah, any boss that's susceptible to enemy max HP attacks. Royal Guard is going to be hitting like a truck. And as for the A3, it's a quadruple hitter. It is going to attack in at random and only be a 4-turn cooldown, even fully bugged, but each hit has a 75% chance bugged of placing strong decrease speed debuff for 2 turns, and each hit also has 75% chance bugged of decreasing the target's turn meter by 25%. Now, this guy has really crappy finite ratings. It's only at a 4.1, whereas on hellhades.com, like 4.1 is not that great. I know it's in the green, but it's not that great. But on Hell Hades, this guy is ranked as a 5-star god in normal mode Fire Knight. So as long as you've got a way to plink down the Fire Knight's shield charges, things like counter attackers on your team and like damage reflectors on your team and stuff, and you can break down the Fire Knight shield charges, then all you gotta do is disable this A2 in like your team AI, like your team setup, until you get to the boss, and then just prioritize it, and there you go, he'll just delete the Fire Knight's entire turn meter, you know? But yeah, not just that, of course, because he's got the attack all on the A2, decreased defense, decreased speed debuffs. Royal Guard has the advantage of just being good everywhere, okay? So Faction Wars, definitely going to be one of those places. Tyrell, in a similar vein to Royal Guard, he brings decreased attack, he brings decreased defense, he brings a little bit of turn meter control, I think, on the A3, which he does. It is, of course, only single target, but there you go. Yeah, Tyrell is another one of those epics that's also just kind of fantastic everywhere. And yeah, you'll definitely be using him in Faction Wars if you pull yourself an early Tyrell. Next up, Skuramus. Dude, this is a guy, well, as you can see, I actually own this champ. I did pull him quite recently. He's ready to be built, man. It's going to be awesome. Skuramus has a very interesting kit. Again, is he just good everywhere? And ooh, Hell Hades actually only has him at a 3.5 stars, man. Little bit harsh, I think. I think Skuramus is one of those guys that can be a backbone of a team. Very good into Arena as well, as I'm pretty sure is reflected in his in-game reviews. And it all comes down to the Provoke on the A3, right? Has a 100% chance booked on a 3-turn of placing Provoke for 1 turn on all enemies, and place a counterattack and continuous heal buff on this champion for 2 turns, meaning you basically have 100% uptime on this, right? Why is this so good? Because you're attacking in with the A1, which reads, attacks one enemy, has a 95% chance with books and masteries, I guess, chance of stealing 15% of the target's 10 meter, and has a, I guess, booked 30% chance of placing a stun debuff for 1 turn if the target's 10 meter is fully depleted by this skill. So the enemy attacks in, because you've provoked the hell out of them with the A3. Skuramus counterattacks, they have no 10 meter because they've just attacked you, right? Triggered your counterattack, and then bam, there's a pretty solid chance that you're going to hit them with a stun. He also has an attack all on the A2, decreasing the duration of all enemy buffs by 1 turn, giving him some utility into things like Hydra, but again, very good into Arena. Obviously solid into like all wave-based content as well because of the provoke and the attacks and the stuns. Dude, Skuramus, Giga Chad. Next up, we've got Endalia. I'm not sure that she is that great. She does bring an AoE strong version of decreased attack, which is really nice indeed. I think that her main issue is that she's really only good into super niche areas of the game. She'd be great into Faction Wars, don't get me wrong, but unless you need a provoker, she does have a provoke that she can kind of spam out on the A1 at least. And her passive also allows her to kind of spam counterattacks as well. So if you're up against something like Magma Dragon and you just need a steady provoker, someone that's going to attack in a lot with a provoke A1, and you're just really lacking that on your account and it's really early days on your account, then I guess you can justify leveling and maxing up your Endalia, and you probably use her in Faction Wars as well because of that decreased attack AoE on the A2. It's a very edge case. Most of the time you're going to have a better and just more economic provoker on your account to use into Magma Dragon. And what do I mean by economic? Well, I mean champs that are just useful in many other areas of the game as well, whereas Endalia is just a little bit limited on that front. It's a similar deal with Thenasil as well. Really good into Faction Wars, sort of mediocre in many other areas of the game. He does bring a strong heal and like a spammable heal on his A2 and a strong version of increased defense on that A2 as well, so he definitely does have some utility. And by the way, if you all disagree with any of my choices here or any of my observations, for example, if you maxed out your Endalia or your Thenasil and you're finding lots of use for them in lots of areas of the game and you disagree, hell, make sure to plop it down below in the comments. But I think the last two champs I'm really going to draw attention to are going to be good old Neldor and Vegas down here. First of all, Neldor. Oh my god, dude, if you're having problems with Fire Knight, those problems end the minute you pull Neldor. This guy also unlocks hard mode Fire Knight for you completely, where you've got to freeze the Fire Knight in order to knock back his turn meter, right? Regular turn meter decreases, just not working over there. So the A1 attack 3 times at random, each hit with a chance of placing freeze debuff for 1 turn. You can see where we're going with this. The A2 attacks one enemy 4 times. First and second hit have a chance to place decrease attack. And then the following 2 hits have a chance to place decrease accuracy, so a quad hitter on the A2, and then a double hitter attack all enemies 2 times on the A3, each hit with a chance of placing decrease speed, which is also useful into Fire Knight as well. And as if all of that wasn't good enough, into hard Fire Knight, whenever an ally places a freeze debuff on his passive, this champion has a 30% chance to attack the target with their default skill, and so... damn, man. And so, yeah, I think Neldor is one of those guys. He's only really good. I mean, I'm sure he's like okay into some other areas of the game, but he's really a Fire Knight's specialist, but he's so good at what he does that you're almost definitely going to be leveling him up to 60 anyway. And yeah, he slaps into Faction Wars as well because of his AoE attacks and the strong debuffs that those are applying to. So Neldor, definitely one of the S tier epics should you pull him. And finally, that brings us to Vegas, another S tier epic champ. Not only can this guy, he's one of those champs that can actually solo Scarab King in Doom Tower, which is great. His reflect damage buffs and his ally protect just kind of make him good everywhere, right? So on the A1, attacks one enemy, has a chance of placing a reflect damage buff on a random ally for a couple of turns. Very, very nice indeed. And on that A2, it is the ally protect, but also places a 15% continuous heal buff and a 30% increased speed buff and a reflect damage buff on a target ally for 3 turns. Then you get the ally protect and an increased defense on Vegas himself. Obviously just amazing stuff for survivability in Faction Wars, and his passive, the thing which allows him to solo the crap out of Scarab King, which we've covered a few times in videos before, so I'll just blast over this. Place a shield buff on this champ equal to 10% of their max HP for 2 turns whenever this champion loses 10% or more of their max HP from a single hit. Also, the active effect rather, bookable down to a 1-turn cooldown. Place a 15% continuous heal buff on this champion for 2 turns every time their HP drops below 50%. So this passive, in combination with, I think, 2 pieces of Immortal gear and a Destroy set, allows Vegas just to solo the crap out of Scarab King, and for that reason alone, I guess he's just worth building for most people, you know? And yeah, his Faction Wars ratings are also, I mean, they kind of speak for themselves, right? Vegas, another absolute Giga Chad, man. So for the epics, once again, dude, there's so many good ones, actually. The entire roster of 5 here on the left side of the epics are all very, very awesome indeed. I think that's actually the 5 that we really spotlighted, right? Yeah, it is. And so, goddamn, unless I'm missing anybody, which if you do feel I'm missing any epics that you feel I'm sleeping on a little bit, same with the rare champs as well, make sure you do drop them down below in the comments, man, and fill people in, man. Help folks out with the High Elves Faction Wars. Not that it's that hard, because realistically, you do kind of get Yannicka for free, right? Well, not for free, but from your clan shop eventually, as well as, where is she, man? Arbiter, of course. Well, I couldn't spot for just a second there, from your Arbiter missions, and so that's just 2 very, very powerful legendaries that you can grab as a free-to-play player completely, you know, right off the get-go. So I don't know, man, maybe it's unnecessary to even make a video like this, and High Elves is not really an issue for y'all, but still, with Shad pulling events coming up and all that good stuff, it's good to know who you are keeping an eye out for. So, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you all did enjoy. If you're looking to start off a new raid account with a free epic champion, as well as a whole bunch of free starting supplies, including chickens and silver and all of that good stuff, then feel free to use my promo link down below at the top of the video description, man. Click that link, sign up, get your rewards, and it helps us support the channel directly. So thanks for that, boys. Enjoy the rest of your night, and I'm going to catch all of you all just a tad bit later, man.